Yes, he should. To get to that answer, I had to look in the mirror. And I had to say to myself, if I am, there's 3 levels: accused, charged, and convicted. If I am convicted of a felony, would I expect myself to resign? And I had to answer that question before I was ready to ask Steve to resign, and the answer is yes. That if I find myself, or an elected official finds themselves charged of a felony, and we could probably spend some time talking about 1 felony versus 10. I'm not sure where the line is. For me, it was felony. It's not about innocence or guilt. It just isn't. It would be totally unfair to ask him to resign with an assumption of guilt. It's about a respect for the office and a respect for the city's business, and knowing how clearly this has and will continue to impact the city's business in a negative way brings me to the answer of yes. I would like Steve to resign. There is a clear higher standard for an elected official. Would I ask somebody, an executive of Action Target, to resign if they had a felony charge? I'm not sure. But there's a different standard over at Action Target. There were a lot of people that called for the resignation, back with the articles and things like that. And that was hard for me, but it was accused, and it was not charged. And charged is not guilty either. But that's kind of what pushed me over the line between accused and charged. Yeah. Part of my concern is it's hard for the residents to fully understand what it is that we're doing. And what I mean by that is, in many residents' minds, if he's committed a crime, then that impacts what Judge Schofield is doing. That's not true. Judge Schofield is not trying to determine if he committed a crime. He's trying to determine if he broke the ethical standard set by the state. We sat down with Judge Schofield and I said, Judge, your job is to determine if the state law has been broken. And ethics, state ethics law, period. And you will decide how you're going to do that, and you will decide, what the course is. I have asked for it to be in 30 days, but if you come to me at the end of 30 days and say I can't give you a quality product in 30 days, I'm going to give you more time, because the quality product is more important than the 30 days. I do believe the 30 days is important to our city, or a short time period is important to our city. But the difference between 30 and 45 days, I'll take if it makes a difference between him having a good report or a bad report. So he is tasked with simply looking at the complaint and deciding if state ethics laws have been broken. So the core of his investigation is the complaint. But I have already opened up a couple of other avenues that I feel like need to be looked at. And we've also had now 1 or 2 already citizens give us written complaints that will be forwarded to him. He will then have to use his discretion, and he feels like, in his words, I'm pretty good at this. I'll know if I should go down this road or stop. And so we've kind of left how many roads he goes down up to him. But he also knows that at some point he's got to get his arms around this, and if not careful, it will be a 10-month investigation. It took the county 10 months with multiple investigators, and I can't do that. I don't have that luxury. I also feel that that using professional help is required. A mayor is not qualified to be a judge, and there are certain levels. We talked about different complaints that could come in where I feel like, okay, yeah, I can handle this. But this is such a complex matter, and the legal nuances are so deep that somebody not trained doesn't have the ability to get to the right answer. And so to look to me and say, okay, you interpret these facts, I think would be a huge mistake. This is a case that has been very public, that to some degree has been tried in the public. And so if the judge comes up with an answer that doesn't jive with the emotions, in many people's minds he's innocent, in many people's minds he's guilty. And both of those sides are going to have to come to terms with the answer. One of the things that the judge said that I really like is, I will be clear in my findings. And I think that's important. that he's not ambiguous. He either did or he didn't. And I will be disappointed if the report is ambiguous. I think we need to get a clear ruling from him that there was a violation or there wasn't a violation.